Parents rely on report cards to see how their students are doing in school, but grades don't always tell the whole story. Sometimes your kid needs an A for effort. My next guest points out that we shouldn't forget that learning is personal and that there are a lot of life lessons that cannot be quantified by a percentage. College admissions coach Amanda Groh is here to help us think outside of that GPA box. And this is kind of out of what we've been trained to think.
It's true. Like the GPA is so important. It is admittedly important for college admissions and things, but when I hear a parent call me and say, Sarah is a 4.0 student, I cringe a little bit inside, because what happens when Sarah gets an A-? She calls her entire identity into question. And today I'm just excited to talk about how we can look at the entire high school, junior high, college experience with an open mind focused on learning, not just grades, not just a number, but learning.
So we're looking at the whole package.
Yeah.
So you're not saying like, okay, don't worry about your GPA at all. We're just talking about maybe broadening our horizons and taking credit for some of the other things that our students are doing.
Yeah, well, it would be possible. It would be possible to go through high school and get a 4.0, but actually have a really passive learning experience that you're not getting a lot out of. So I encourage parents and students to just change the culture in their home and celebrate effort, embrace challenges, so that their student will get so much more than a GPA out of high school or junior high.
So it's January and a new semester is starting here. And so you've brought some tips, some real life things that parents can jump into and start doing what you're talking about.
Yeah,
and the first one is celebrate the effort and not the challenges.
Celebrate effort and challenges, both.
Celebrate them both.
Celebrate them both. So there's a famous study where they took fifth graders and they broke them into two groups, and the researchers gave them a series of puzzles. And in one group, they would praise the student on how smart they were. And in the other group, they would compliment them on their effort, like, oh, you worked really hard on that. Then they asked the students, would you like to do some more challenging puzzles? Do you want to take it to the next level? The ones who were praised on being smart and intelligent, they didn't want to challenge. They wanted to stick to what they knew. The ones who were praised on effort were more willing to take on that next challenge. It's something called the growth mindset. And I think it's something that I hope to bring it as a culture into my home with my kids. I have a good friend who says, whenever her son says, I can't do this, she says, you can't do it yet. You'll learn, you're gonna do it. And so celebrating their effort, like as long as when they are trying, when you see real effort, recognize that and compliment it. And recognize the moments when they're willing to take on a challenge, when they leave their safety zone of where they know that they can achieve that perfect A or that 4.0, when they take a more challenging class, celebrate that. So this is a perfect time as we set into this new semester. This is a perfect time to help guide their mindset into that growth mindset and focus on growing as a student and as an individual.
And is there some real evidence that this actually works? Is there some research around this whole idea?
Absolutely. I mean, you can look up growth mindset and see all kinds of research. The very first researcher that's kind of the pioneer in the field is named Carol Dweck. But growth mindset it's a big deal in education. It's something that I really hope that we can instill into today's students.
Okay, and if a parent feels like they're not really getting there with their students, learn to ask questions.
Yes. Okay. So it's possible to have a really passive experience, right? To go through school and just jump through the hoops the teacher gives you, do exactly what the teacher expects, but not really learn. The one thing I really wish junior high school, college students knew was how to ask a question, how to have an inquisitive mind, and how to have the courage to talk to a teacher or a professor. That's number one piece of advice for an entering college student would be, don't be afraid of your professors. Ask them questions. It's going to enrich your learning experience. And the skill of asking questions is something that will serve you well for your entire life. And through the workplace, through everything that you do, like having an inquisitive mind will make your life so much better.
So if you have a kid that can't quite get out of their shell or doesn't dare ask their teacher questions, is this something that you're going with them and starting off that process? Are you letting them do it entirely on their own? How do you make that work?
I think creating a culture of questions in your home. You know, if they're doing homework in science, you start asking them questions about that. And if you model the behavior, if you show that, that you're interested and that you have an inquisitive mind, I think it will encourage them to do the same. And
it's more than just what's on the sheet.
It is
more
really
than just memorizing the answers for the test.
It is. So, I mean, that's my hope, because they forget. There's research that shows how quickly people forget the things that they regurgitate onto a test. You're more likely to remember it and make it a part of you for life if you develop that inquisitive mindset.
And find a reason to know that information.
Yeah, the curiosity. I think that's, if you can teach your child to ask questions and to approach the professor and ask questions of the teacher, that's going to really enrich their learning experience.
And I think teachers do some of this in school with projects, the science projects and the English writing assignments, and parents can get involved with their students in doing those as well.
Yes. So projects. Well, let's think about a test first, okay? A test, you can only work by yourself. You can't collaborate with anyone else. All books, all internet is closed to you. It's just you and the page.
Piece of paper.
That's right.
Yep.
So when is that replicated in the real world?
Never.
Again? Never again. You're encouraged to collaborate. You're encouraged to do whatever you can to just like bring the best results possible in the workplace, in your home. Like, use all of your resources. So tests, you know, that's part of life. The students need to take the test, and hopefully we can change their mindset and make the experience more positive. But projects, that's where we have a real possibility for fantastic learning experiences. Whether it's a project they're doing in school or a project that they are doing on their own. Maybe they have a business idea. Maybe they have a great idea for a service project, something that needs to be done in the world. If they can go through the process of doing a project from beginning to end, the initial research, the reaching out and networking to try to make these things happen, that is potentially the most rich, awesome experience that they could have in this time of their life, because they'll learn so much that they'll carry with them through every stage of their life.
Okay, and you have a big event coming up for high school students. Tell us about that.
Okay, so it's CollegeCon. It's a day for parents and students. It's free, a full day full of speakers and classes celebrating both these things, like how to really enrich your learning experience, and also the things you just have to do in order to get accepted to college. We're going to talk about scholarships and standardized testing like the ACT, but we'll also talk about, you know, how to choose your major, how to find yourself. We have an exciting lineup of keynote speakers, including Dr. Susan Madsen, a world-renowned leadership expert, Cotopaxi CEO Davis Smith. We also have the world-renowned BYU ballroom dance team and rap artist James the Mormon. We've got a rich variety of experiences. Like, I wish I could go to every class. It would be awesome. It's March 18th at Davis High School, and you can go to our website, utahcollegecon.com, to reserve your free ticket. Bring your whole family, all your high school and junior high kids.
Okay, well, thanks so much, and thanks for having us think outside that GPA box.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.